Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and we are going to make another Easter card, but we're going to take our stencils, and it's one stencil, and we're going to give it a different look. So here I'm using the Paper Rose Bubbles 6x6 stencil, and I've chosen a bunch of different pastel inks, a pastel yellow, pink, purple, blue, and I think that's it. Yes. But by using this one stencil, we're going to give it a different look. Now, you can certainly just do one layer for this stencil, choose your color, or you can choose multiple colors in different areas. But what I'm going to do is put my first color down, which is this pale yellow, and then I'm going to take the stencil, and you want to clean it in between, or else you're going to get different colors. And I just use a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to turn it. And by turning it, I'm getting those circles or bubbles in different areas than where they were originally. Yes, they're going to overlap, but that's just going to give you that, what is that, boho, whatever that's called, effect. And again, it's simply by turning your stencil in different areas. Now, if this was a larger stencil, you could just shift it around. And you can do that too after you turn it. And by keep doing that, you'll get those circles in 4 different positions by turning it on 4 different sides. So you're getting a completely different look from one stencil. You don't always have to have the layering stencils. Now, layering stencils, of course, are gorgeous and will give you those different effects. And 9 out of 10, they're used when it comes to an image. This is just creating that different style of background. And it's keeping it as a 1-layer card. So it's something to look at. Depending upon what the stencil is, what the design is, you can get different looking effects. Now, this looks like a hot mess because the inks are still a little bit wet. But once they dry, they soften out and you get this beautiful bubble effect behind what our focal image is going to be. Now that I have the panel completed, I'm going to cut it down to be 4 by 5 1/4, and I did that by cutting 1/8 of an inch off each side so that I could make sure I had the stencil that I did in the center. I'm going to be placing that onto a standard A2 size card base, and I'm using a pale gray. Now for my focal point, I'm using the Little Chick and Egg die, which is absolutely adorable. And I'm going to be using the Happy Easter Chunky Layer die again. And I used the same shade of gray for the sentiment that I did for my card. You can see I've die cut multiple times for the image. So for the chick herself, I've die cut that twice. I'm going to put colored pieces in between and then glue this on top so I don't have to worry about die cutting out the eyes. I did die cut out the nose 4 more times, and I'm going to layer that up so that that will have dimension. And then the last layer on the nose, I'm going to shift that down. So we have all of this dimension, and then it's going to look like the beak is hooking just a little bit. So our final layer, I only die cut the feet once, and they're going to come out of the bottom of the egg. So I'm going to take this egg and surround our little chick with it. And you can see I die cut that multiple times, 5 times, both the top and the bottom. And we're just going to get those layers secured together with my liquid adhesive. This is going to add a lot of dimension to the card. Now, you don't have to add as much dimension as I do. I love dimension on my cards. You could just die cut these pieces twice all the way around and you would be fine. You would not have as much dimension as I do. You know that when you add your dimension to your cards, you are running the risk of adding more postage. So just something to think about. I added the feet outside the bottom of the bottom shell. And I'm going to put the sentiment along the top of the bottom shell part, because that's going to be this in between the chick and the egg. If that makes sense, you'll see. So to even out those layers because of the shell and the sentiment, I added some foam squares. I'm going to get my chick in place. I'm going to have that go off to the side. And then we're going to place our bottom half down, and then our top will get set right off to the side. Now, you could actually have the shells, you could do a slim line and do the shells on the top and the bottom. That would be cute as well. But I wanted to keep this onto a standard A2 size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I think this is absolutely adorable. So I hope, as always, you enjoyed today's project. Again, looking at what you have, such as a stencil, and using it in another way to give it new life and to stretch its life out. We don't have to use our stash just one way. As always, the products that I use will be listed down below. And if you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below as well. Make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and ring the bell for notifications so that you know when the next video is ready for you to watch. And by all means, enjoy the process of creating your art. It is what you create. Don't get frustrated. Don't get stressed. Just enjoy it and have fun and see what you can create with the supplies that you have. Remember what's most important, though. Always be creative. And I will talk to you in the next one. Till then.